All right, welcome to the Valentine's Day special live stream. Your host, Marty from Options Unleashed. Let's get into it. We've got news on Taiwan Semi. It looks like Warren Buffett has reduced his stake in this company. And the reason why I'm doing a live stream is I am kind of short option premium on Nvidia, but also from my Discord, I was looking to get into Taiwan Semi. It's one of my picks for generational buys, and knowing that Warren stepped in, but I never actually bought the stock. I was waiting for a pullback. It had an upside down head and shoulders. If you look at this chart, let's look at the weekly, and then we'll get into some option trades later for you guys. The reason, again, why we're doing this is, you can watch stocks on any channel, but I'm going to give you the options information. So, actionable trades. But look at this, like this stock rocketed. I have actually a note in my chart from around November of 22 when Warren took a position. It blasted higher, and the stock never gave you a chance to get in. Never gave us a chance to get in. I mean, it just pretty much rocketed higher. And I've been waiting, and it's one of my generational buys. Take a look at this trend line going back since 2009, everyone. People, as Dan Nathan likes to say. You think we can get Dan Nathan in the chat? We should try to get Dan Nathan and other guys in the chat. We got to get some live feed going on, guys. Let me see if I can kind of invite some people on to this video while we're actually live. We got to get this going on right here. Hold on one second. I'm going to tweet this. Actually, I'm just going to show you the tweet deck. Talking TSM live. Let's go, man. We got to get some people in this channel. Let's see how many participants. There's nobody in the channel right now. So anyway, this will be, you can watch this later, but this is huge news. I'm gonna just review read the Discord that I just posted. Taiwan Semi Manufacturing TSM shares traded lower Tuesday after hours after Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway slashed its stake in the chip giant. What happened? They slashed their stake by 86.2%. The firm still owns 8.9 million shares. The move comes after Buffett published 60 million shares of Taiwan worth $4.6 billion in the third quarter, which is by far his largest purchase. So my guess is, and maybe we can get some people in the chat, but this 13F filing, guys, was, so they took a position in the third quarter of last year, and in the fourth quarter, they sold 86%. So it's not like they did it recently. I think it's 45 days ago. Somebody can correct me, but a 13F is a filing that you need for mandatory filing, that a change of holdings. And if you take a look, it's down after hours, 97 down to 93. I had tweeted to short Nvidia, and we'll talk more about Taiwan Semi in a minute. Just kind of waiting for other people to join the chat, but take a look at Nvidia for a second. Nvidia, another upside down head and shoulders, straight up, since January this year, all on ChatGPT. I love Nvidia. It's another generational buy of mine. If you look at my generational stocks in TradeView, I have a watch list of Nvidia is one of them. TSM is another. I don't own it yet, but I'm trying to position myself for Nvidia. I'd like to see it pull back to this range in here, this support zone in here, to be able to just get it back on sale. But we can't. It's not letting you in. This is all related to ChatGPT. And here's my options trade right now on Nvidia. Today I didn't have a great day. I'm still short the S&Ps. I'm short 200 shares. And if you look at Nvidia, I've got a big strangle in here. I've got, let's say, actually a couple going on in here. I'm short the 230 and the 245 call, because I short into strength, and then I'm actually short the 170 put. So I completed a strangle, which I'm okay with, because I actually think that Nvidia is overdue for a sell-off. As option traders, we sell into strength, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But this is just something that we need to deal with. When a price is testing your upper strike, you need to be able to manage your trades, manage your winners. Nvidia happens to be was a big loser for me in the past couple of days. I'm down $1,600 on the trade. I have a $10,000 buying power reduction. We can go into the Discord. Please, join the Discord, follow me. Let's talk about, we've got Options 101. We talk about buying power reduction and risk and all this other stuff. So, I have a positive theta in here. I got negative gamma, right? And I got a negative delta. So I need this stock to be lower by March 17th, which happens to be 31 days now to expiration. So, also the other thing about Nvidia is, that was my first trade this year. I'm down, year to date, I'm negative on the trade. But I'm feeling very comfortable in here because, again, I feel like a lot of this run that we've had is all due to ChatGPT. I didn't expect it to break out of this support zone. Should I have I adjusted? Yes. Did I adjust? Yes, I did. I actually sold more calls into this, because that 245 level, which is just, the reason why I picked 245, if you actually really want to know, is it's half this bar, this candle right here around the 245, 250 level. I figured it would try to make a run for half the candle and come back down to earth. But I'm actually thinking now, with the news and semis tomorrow, we're going to get a little pullback, and as selling can kind of beget selling. So if you look at my tweet on Nvidia, I basically said short Nvidia now, because you're going to get some pullback. And that was before the news on TSM. So again, these are my favorite generational buys. I don't own them long. Trying to get into these. I like to see Nvidia kind of come back down and backfill and just kind of bounce higher. This would be a great trade, right? Same thing with TSM. Let's take a look at TSM, and we'll look at an option trade really quick. Let's see. Has anybody joined us lately? Let's see if anybody's in the chat. Still no one in the chat. Got to get some people to join. TSM, we'd love to see this thing. Now it's down in after hours, but we'd love to see this thing kind of head lower and retest this channel. The fact that Buffett's out is going to be It's going to be interesting, guys, to see why they actually sold. Now, here's a couple couple things, right? I don't normally do this, but why did they sell, right? Did they sell to, let's put some text in here. See if we can set it up here. Did they sell to, one, reduce exposure to Apple and hardware? Did they sell to reduce exposure for a buyout? You know, could Apple reduce, you know, could it be that, could be that Apple is making a run for TSM? Did they need the cash? Or another acquisition, another stake? We don't know, right? So these are all things that we need to ask. We don't really know, right? Wouldn't that be interesting if they reduced the stake to 8 million shares so that if Apple was going to make a bid for TSM, they wouldn't, if they completed it, let's say in the next 3 months or whatever of this year, they would, and actually, you know what I'm going to do is, I'm thinking ahead of time here. I want to edit this somehow. I want to add another text area here. Oops. How do I add another text area? I want to like edit this, but we'll just say text. Another number 4 would be, did they have to reduce exposure to China stocks? Right? That's another factor. Right? These are all question marks, right? These are all big question marks. So this is huge, guys. Like, you know, expect tomorrow we're going to see NVIDIA right now is not even really budged on the news, but, you know, TSM is down and going lower on that after hours. Let's take a look at an hourly chart. You know, we can certainly see 91 tomorrow on the chart, and that could be potentially pretty big. So it could probably retest this level right in here, which is support. Previous support would be right about here. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. So this would be 91 right in here. 90.30. But we can break back, and you got to assume that these guys are going to break down. The semis are just extended in here. Let's take a look at the SOX just really quick. I have no idea, but yeah, the SOX is still up in a trend. Look at that nice trend. But you got to assume that the SOX is going to kind of bring it back to the trend line. So let's talk about like a potential trade, like, you know, and again, I'm just doing this live, guys. I have no idea what's going on, but let's take a look. Let's just take a look as option traders. Well, what do we look at, right? So we got the chart. We look at the daily. We look at when we just had earnings, right? I usually look at Estimize, and I look at other websites that I don't have time to get into. I wanted to make this a short video, but this is they had $1.82 right here versus 179. They've got a dividend coming up, and they've got earnings on the 4/13. So let's say we were bearish until 4/13 on the trade. Again, these numbers are going to change tomorrow, so it's almost not even worth it. But just for ha-has, let's just kind of go through a couple exercises here that I do. So again, looking at earnings, it would be 4/13. Options on April, you know, there's a March and there's an April earnings, so you'd have to be in the March timeframe, which is fine. It's 45 days to expiration. You'd have to look at the single 35% IV, no big deal there, but the IV rank is 18, so not a lot of volatility. So we'd probably be not necessarily, so it's not like we could sell a strangle or just sell a credit spread. You know, we're not going to get any juice in that, right? So let's just take a look actually for that. Let's take a look at let's take a look at a credit spread. If we wanted to sell the 16 delta as of today, it would be a 95 cents, and we would also just use the 1 by 1, if you will. There would be 14 cents. There's no juice in this stock. There's no volatility. So credit spread is out, right? So not a good idea. If you went a 1 by 2, even if you did like a 1 by 4 month, you know, vertical, and you wanted to go up to that number, that the 109 area, you know, you're kind of, there's still no juice in that. You're still killing yourself. I mean, there's a 94-cent trade, but your risk is huge. You might as well not even sell a call spread. So call spreads are pretty much out. Okay. Let's look now at, you know, a single, just a call, covered call, or not a covered call, but just a single credit call, short call at the single delta would be 95 cents, but you're still going to risk $940 per contract. So if you wanted to get up into the, let's say you had a $100,000 portfolio at 3, you would do 3% almost 3% of your portfolio would put you at a $2.85, right? So that's not bad, right? You collect $2.85 to be in that 16 delta. Now let's take a look where that 16 delta is. It's 108 on the price on the stock. So if we look at TSM, maybe we can, here's where technical analysis comes in, right? So 108 on the stock puts us up here at this previous kind of support up here, right? So this is 106. So you could almost target the 106 as opposed to the 108, right? So 106 will give you a little more juice at a 22 delta, but let's just say you're aggressive. You're not going to get it tomorrow morning, but we're just going through the exercises, guys. And again, you might be kind of stupid, but just going through the exercises. You sell 3 of those, you're going to be now at $450. But another trade I like to look at is like just basically an outright diagonal. You got 3 days and then a 10-day on a single diagonal. And let's say we wanted to target this area right down here, the 50-week moving average at 87. It looks sweet. And also the 200 at 83. I actually go a little further on diagonals because you're going to notice it's a debit. You're going to play a debit, you know, option trade. But what you're looking at is, so we're looking at, let's say we're looking at the 83 level, but you're going to look at scaling that. So you're going to, in this case, I'm going to do a little trick. I actually buy the calls and then I change them to puts, and it gives me a nice little thing here. So if I were going out, you know, this was based on today. There's no way this is going to be 6 cents tomorrow. But this is the type of stuff we look at, right? This is 6 cents, and we would scale that up to like 20 or 30 or 40, somewhere where it's some palatable number. Let's say you are interested in putting up a 0.5%, right? $500 on a $100,000 portfolio, or maybe 0.25%, you know, $250 on a, and you're looking for this trade. This is going to give you a defined risk trade with lots of probability. Not lots of probability for profit, but you're going to get a lot of profit on low probability because it's low IV. But this, unfortunately, in the morning, this trade will be, believe it or not, it will already be down $282. So it's probably going to be selling for $1. No, not $1. It's going to be selling for 25 cents maybe. Yeah, it's going to be selling for 25 cents or bidding, sorry, 25 cents in the morning. You're going to have to get this trade off at 90, you're going to be paying 25, 30 cents. You're almost going to miss the trade. You almost want to do it on a bounce, right? So if you were really interested in this trade tomorrow, here's what I would do. I would actually let it open up down. It's going to, let's say it retraces 50% of the retracement. So you're somewhere in here at $95. So the stock's going to come up, right? The stock's going to bounce up to this area right here. This is where you want to put diagonal on. And then you're kind of hoping for a washout lower down to that 89 level, 83 level, whatever it is, 80 to 85. You're taking profits in here. You're selling 10 or 20 diagonals, right? So that's kind of what I would be looking at in the morning. Yeah, that's all I got for now. We can actually just quickly look at, if you just take a look at my tweet deck, here's what I'm looking at over here on TSM. Warren Buffett's Q4 2022 is out. Berkshire reduces stake in TSM significantly. TSM trending stocks on Wall Street bets. I got some, what do you call it? Some Chinese posts in here. Taiwanese posts. Could be Korean. Could be anybody there. Buffett dumping TSM. TSM able to buy calls tomorrow, 80% off. He dumped chunks of USB BK as well as TSM. So he also took out some BK. He could be lightening up to make a big acquisition, or he thinks maybe he thought in December that he had to just lighten up overall due to China. That's probably all it is, but we're just going to have to find out what was the reason. Now, you guys who follow Warren Buffett know that he doesn't just get out of a stock like slowly. He usually gets in slowly, but he gets out all at once. So the fact that it reduced like 80 something percent tells me that there's something more to the story. Maybe they're selling another. Maybe that's all they could swing, knowing that maybe the next report it'll be the remaining shares. We don't really know much, so I don't want to speculate. And here's my post right here, but my guess is that I don't want to speculate, but we have to find out. He usually tells the truth why he did something. I'm sure Becky Quick will interview him on CNBC, but this is kind of big news in that this was my number one pick for an option play long play and generational play. And this gives us a chance to actually get back in the name, because I don't think it's a broken stock. So once we find out what happened, I'm sure we can I'm sure it's going to follow this pattern in here. You're probably going to see if there's no fundamental reason why Warren is selling, if it's more tactical, or if it's not related to TSM. You could probably get the stock in this level right here under 80, and then obviously, you got a nice run from 80 to 120, because that's what stocks do at 80. They run to 120, but I missed a boat. This is going to give us another chance to get in, but this is going to give us a look into hardware and semis and why Warren Buffett reduced his stake. It's going to give us maybe some read through into Apple. You never know. They can be positioning for Apple maybe wants to take out TSM, because then they will basically control all the hardware. There's also, you never know, like with the recent chat GPT run up and semis, there's going to be a rush by Mike, and you know the news with Microsoft recently too, that they reduced or they terminated their own chip production. So Intel, you know, they're going to be going back to Intel, back to the well with Intel, and Intel is not doing well. But you got to think with, you have to think with Intel down in here and IBM, right, with all the AI stuff and the demand for power for PCs, for chips, right? You've got in IBM, Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA are going to be fighting for this market, right? So previously it was gaming and autonomous vehicles. Now it's going to be chat GPT and AI because they're very demanding resources. NVIDIA is probably the best play, but I'm hoping, like, again, I'm short premium in here. I'm hoping we get a nice little pullback tomorrow. And what I'll do tomorrow is NVIDIA pulls back. I'm right in it right here. I might actually just sell some more puts into the trade, into the print, but I'm pretty exposed in here right now. So I could almost roll up. You know, it's probably too late now because they're going to get a pullback tomorrow, but I should have rolled up. You know, Tom and Tony would be really mad at me over at Tasty Trade because this was more than 50% profit. I should have rolled this trade up already. These two short positions, they're not testing my upper strikes, but they're pretty close. So I'm going to need to do something tomorrow anyway, either way. But that's amazing. That's interesting on this. Well, I hope you guys were interested in that video, and please subscribe to please join my Discord. It's free. Please subscribe to my Twitter, Options Unleashed, and YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube and join the option discussion. And leave me a message like, what do you want to see me cover? Would you like more option 101 stuff, or do you want more advanced options? And have a happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully you're taking your spouse or significant other out for dinner tonight. I'm about to go upstairs and have dinner and not think about the stock market at least until tomorrow morning at 8:30. So have a good evening and take care, everybody.